Good morning. Good morning. Let me just make sure we're going here. It's one of those mornings where nothing is working. So happy Monday. Hopefully, you had a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Listen, speaking of things not working, let's talk about annual reviews this morning because a lot of you reach out to me this time of year because you have an annual performance review coming up and you're absolutely terrified of them. You didn't keep up with everything you did last year. Perhaps you're not prepared. Maybe you're scared to ask for that raise or that promotion, or you're not sure the words you actually want to use in doing so. Well, I taught this last week in our career community, our career GPS community. If you want to find out more, nope, it's up there in the corner. Check it out. But we had a really robust discussion last week about how to master your performance review, your annual review. Look, this is kind of one of those big moments in the year where you get to shine. You get to say all the wonderful things you've done, and yes, make the business case for that raise or that promotion. But so often we build up limiting beliefs about they're never going to give it to us. Oh, I don't know what to say. And you kind of build this narrative in your head that you just need to get through your annual review, when in fact, your annual review is a huge opportunity for you. So I'm addressing this now because if you're on a corporate cadence, like some of you, then you usually have your reviews in February so that your payout and your merit bonus is in March. So, knowing that may be the schedule that you're on as well, then let's talk about 4 tips this morning for crushing, for mastering your annual performance review. Now, these 4 tips are just that's it. That's all you need for your annual review for both your written narrative that you need to turn in to your boss or your HR system or HR team, but also the 4 things you need for the narrative and sitting down with your boss on a Zoom call or in a meeting. 4 things. These 4 things are the roadmap. And again, this is what we do in our community. We give you roadmaps. We give you the exact steps, and then we walk alongside you to make sure you're implementing them correctly. So trust me when I say these 4 things have worked for me for the past 25 plus years. They work for people in our community. They're going to work for you this morning as well. Number one, I hope you have a pen and paper. Number one, and if you've read my book, you know the very first couple of chapters are devoted to this topic, and it's called your you list. Number one on your you list is your value. Now, let me dispel a notion before I explain that. So many of you say to me, but Cicely, I'm not comfortable talking about myself. You're not talking about yourself. You're talking about the value that you bring to the table that no one else can, your differentiators. And you hear me say this all the time in these videos. People get tired of me probably preaching knowing your value, but the single biggest factor in that annual review, that interview, that resume, anything you do in your career is you have to answer the question, why you? The why you question is, what is your value? What is the value that you bring to the table that no one else can? Your boss, your supervisor needs to hear you articulate that. That's not bragging. That's not talking about yourself. That is a factual conversation about the why and what you bring to the table. So that's number one on the you list. Number two are your contributions. There are so many things you do throughout the year that may not turn into tangible accomplishments, but they're contributions nonetheless, and you need to capture them. Maybe you're part of a project team, maybe strategy team, maybe you're working on something that's really critical. Maybe you actually brought up an idea this past year where you said, have we tried this? And that was a valuable contribution to a conversation on a company or on an association initiative. Those contributions matter. Capture those. You need those contributions in your written narrative and in your verbal narrative with your boss. Number three are your accomplishments. Coffee hadn't kicked in. Number three, accomplishments. So, okay, let me do that again. Number one, know your value. Number two, contributions. Number three are accomplishments. Those are your tangibles. I promise the coffee's sitting here next to me. I just haven't had any. The Number three are your accomplishments. Those are the tangible wins. What did you do? How did you do it? When did you do it? Who was involved? Those accomplishments are important to capture. Number four, lessons learned. Lessons learned, excuse me, lessons learned are one of the most valuable tools you have in your toolbox in your career. Not mistakes, not weaknesses, lessons learned. What are the lessons you've learned? Because your boss is going to ask you in your performance review, so what areas can you improve on? What do you think you can do better? Or what areas do you want to focus on your growth for the next year? Those are lesson learned kind of questions, not mistakes, not weaknesses. Those are lesson learned kind of questions. So capture your lessons learned as well. Now, that's all you need are those four things. Every every interview, every performance review, my resume, everything I do in my career, everything you should do in your career should be built on those four things: your value, your contributions, your accomplishments, and your lessons learned. And that roadmap will blow your boss away, will blow your supervisor out of the water, because now you're taking your performance and your language to a different level. Now you're talking about a roadmap that gives you the exact precise things you need to have in that performance review, whereas you're usually scrambling and trying to pull it all together. No, those four things are all that you need. So let's take the guesswork out of performance reviews. Let's take the anxiety out of performance reviews. Again, these are the kind of done with you tools we teach every day in the Career GPS community. The links at the top. We are walking alongside you, not only giving you the tools, but making sure you implement them as well. And yes, there's implementation under each of these four, but I say that for the folks in the community. This morning, I just want to give you the roadmap so that as you reach out to me, you know I'm going to mention these four things. And I'm going to say to you, where are these things in your narrative, your written narrative? Are you prepared to address these four things in your verbal performance review? Four things. Four things are all you need to succeed, to ace, to master your performance review. So write those down. Know your value, your contributions or accomplishments. There's no certain order. Contributions, accomplishments, lessons learned. Those four are interchangeable. There's no certain order. You can say lessons learned first, but those are the four. Those are the four steps. Those are the four items that you need in your roadmap to master your annual performance. And those are the four things you need, ninja trick, to build the business case for asking for that promotion or for that raise in that performance review conversation. Do not wait until your performance review is over to say, oh, but I forgot to ask about. Absolutely not. You have your roadmap. You just built the business case as to why you had a phenomenal last year. That value is where you add your ask for a raise or your ask for a promotion. You put it in the value piece of the equation. And even if you mention that first, you come back to it again to talk about a promotion or a salary increase. So those four things can get you not only a performance review, but the promotion and the raise that you're seeking. So reach out to me if you have questions. But this morning, I want to leave you with some real practical tips, tactical steps you need to take, items you need to have ready to ace, to master that performance review. Have a great day, everybody. Reach out if you have questions. Let's make sure that you're getting that raise, that you're getting that promotion, but more importantly, that you're acing that performance review. Have a great day.